Welcome home. We are WNST, Tassel, Baltimore. Baltimore Positive. Leonard Raskin's not pulling my lottery tickets away from the set here. I've been giving them out like Oprah, like, you're a winner, you're a winner. These people won $5. They won $7. We're taking pictures. We're here at Costas in beautiful Dundalk. It's not a beautiful day outside, but the sun will be shining if the Ravens win and the Orioles continue to win and stay alive. We are in the midst of a segment I've waited a long time to participate in. There's a Capitol Center book. It's a retrospective book that was written by Richard Friend, Kevin Leonard, and Jeff Krulik. I happen to have Kevin Leonard here with, man, you got handwritten notes. Oh, you got all the stuff you want to get in. Leonard won't leave. He's over here. He's about to order a dozen crabs and stay a while, use his own. Did you take the mallet? You didn't take the mallet. The Leonard Raskin Global mallet that I opened a beer with a little while ago. And I'm giving lottery tickets out. And we're having fun. But I have this mystical box with all my alphabetized ticket stubs of my childhood. And there's hundreds and hundreds of tickets in here. And, there are some shows that I remember for my own personal reasons. And then I was the music critic. Like I talked about John Bon Jovi getting a shot in the butt. And I talk about Robert Plant. But the nicest guys I ever met in rock and roll, and I've already referenced them, Leonard. I can't believe that I told you this story earlier. The nicest guys ever to me as a music critic, they refused to do a pre-interview with me. They demanded that we do it in person. And it was the guys in ZZ Top. And this is when they're doing two nights. They were a big band. I mean, this was like Eliminator Afterglow tour, right? So I met them underneath and sat in their backstage room while they went through their sunglasses, and they were talking about this Mississippi. I have this on tape. You can listen to this at Baltimore Positive. You can just click and so I have these weird memories there that are more than getting drunk in the parking lot, chasing girls, right, being there for a hockey game and waving pom-poms and yelling, whoo, 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 every time I was at Hatcher, touch the puck, right? Right, exactly.
All right, well, here's a question for you. Since you spent
it was Murphy, Larry Murphy. I'm sorry.
You spent so much time there. I asked everybody that I interviewed that had any interaction with the performers. Okay. I asked them the question for my own curiosity. It's certainly not in the book. I said, who was the biggest pain in the butt to deal with? And it was unanimous. Who do you suppose it was?
Musician.
I'll give you that as a hint. Yes, it is a performer.
Well, this musician must have come back and forth many times to be that much of a pain in the butt, right? Like,
I don't know.
How often did this performer play there?
It was more than once. That's all I know.
What era? 70s, 80s?
Either take a guess. You met
there
some
were
of these
thousands of people there.
Yeah, but some of them had to be a pain in the butt to you.
Well, I mean, anybody that wasn't sober, which is half the musicians, you know? I mean, like, does this person have a reputation for being, like...
Well, I didn't know about it. It's possible, but I didn't know about it.
Male or female?
Male.
Barry Manilow?
No.
All right.
Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond?
Yep. They said he was...
Man, I'm trying to talk my wife into seeing a jazz singer. Don't be like... Neil was very nice to me, and I met him at the Capitol Center.
They said he was just impossible. He had it in his contract that down in the bowels of the Capitol Center where the limo would let him off, he had to have curtains from the door all the way to his dressing room. No one could see Mr. Diamond. It was just stuff like that. It was more than that, but that's just...
He is Neil freaking Diamond. You know what I mean?
Anyway.
He said.
It was. Well, here's
no one there.
So here's another... Actually, this is my favorite story about concerts, and this one is in the book.
I'm whipping stuff out. Go ahead. Have fun.
We met with a guy named Mike Bargeron. We've become pretty good friends with him. He was a concessionaire for Ogden, and he and his partner did the concession booth for T-shirts and hats and stuff up on the concourse.
I remember the name, Ogden Services.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so the band, the Police, is going to play that this night, and he said it was very common that hours before a show that you'd see performers walking around the concourse because there was nothing else to do, and he said, here comes Sting and Stuart Copeland.
Jogging or were they just walking?
Just walking around the concourse, and they see their booth, and they came over and started looking through the T-shirts. Now they didn't recognize him, and his partner said, "Hey, get away from our stuff. We're not open yet." And Sting says, "It's okay. We're the police." He thought he meant the Prince George's County Police. And he said, "Well, then you ought to know better. Get away from our stuff." Sting said, "Really? We're the police." He goes, "I heard you the first time. Get away from our stuff." So Sting and Copeland go backstage, and he's not happy. And he told his manager, "I'm not going on until that guy comes and apologizes to me." So they had to send a whole contingent up to the concourse and convince this guy what he did and who this guy was, and he did, and the show went on. But
I met Michael Hutchins under the Capitol Center. He autographed a ticket for me. So I'm just trying to think of, like, here's my Iron Maiden. You'll appreciate this. This is my photo pass from the pit at the Capitol Center, but it doesn't say Capitol Center on it, so that's not fun. I mean, there's something of mystique about the logo itself.
Oh, yeah.
And I need to hear that story because the logo, and, I'm holding up all sorts of Capitol Center stuff here, and the book is here. And I mean, I want to tell this story when you're done because this has to do with Def Leppard and Mike Messina, which is, yeah. So anyway, this will be a good story. But
well, we did track down the guy who did the design has passed on, and he did the logo that everybody's familiar with, but he also did all the branding. Do you remember the 4 icons in the parking lot?
Eagle, Patriot. Hold on. Help me, Leonard. There was an Eagle lot, a Patriot. What? Come on, there were 4 lots.
Yep.
Capitol lot? Is that a Capitol lot?
Yep. And Stars and Stripes.
Stars and Stripes. I never would have gotten
because
that.
So we put the book in 4 different sections using those logos as identifiers because when we started comparing notes, anybody that went to Capitol Center, you remembered those icons. Otherwise, you were looking for your car for hours. It was such a humongous parking lot.
Yeah.
So. Now, the other thing, I have to give you some Grateful Dead stories.
It was my Journey ticket from '82. All right, go ahead.
So, Abe Poland was a little bit older. He was not rock and roll. And every time the Grateful Dead came into town, he had no idea what was going on.
I never went to those shows, dude. I was not a Dead guy. I tell them already not that all the time.
They had an office in a separate building in the parking lot, back of the parking lot, and Abe Poland's office was in there. And he couldn't believe his eyes when he looked out his window and a bunch of naked deadheads were
taking a bath
on the shower drips from his air conditioner. Yeah.
And then he sent their asses up to Meriwether, and then they destroyed downtown Columbia. They got thrown out of there for a while. I love you, deadheads, but my God, take a bath for crying out loud. I mean, you know what I mean?
And another Grateful Dead they were there numerous. The Grateful Dead actually recorded 3 albums at Capitol Center. But another time, 4.
Oh, man, Billy Joel and the Innocent Man tour in '84. I camped out with Richard Abrahams for that. I got to get Richard out to tell some stories. 8th row, man. We camped out for 2 days. Right, 2J. Mike Collins will appreciate that. And look at how ugly these – this is serious. Like, you get these tickets at the Heck Company, and 40 years and 8 months later, I'm pissed because I got an ugly ticket stub. Who wants this ticket stub? Seriously.
Don't look at me. We got all we
Whoa,
want.
you had to get out of the Capitol Center to get a Capitol Center ticket. I mean, I'm being honest with you. I look back and it's disappointing. That's all I could say.
It's time to get over it, okay? Anyway.
Look at how ugly this ticket stub is for Billy Joel in 1990. Whose idea was this? And who thought I was going to get 50% off the CPI photo finish? I'm going to use that. You know how many Roy Rogers milkshakes if I would have turned these, I would have missed out on? Anyway, go ahead. You're telling fun stories and not being a jerk. Imagine that.
A bunch of deadheads without tickets somehow shimmied up onto the roof. And then
to feel the vibration?
No, they're trying to get in. And they found the air conditioning ducts. And they went in through those, and they dropped down into a sky suite, which was certainly out of their price range. But a bunch of dirty hippies just falling out of the ceiling.
That comes with the Dead show.
That's
a feature, not a bug.
But Abe Poland, the Capitol Center's very first week, it was a Bullets game, the Allman Brothers Band, The Who, Johnny Cash, and Disney on Ice. That's not a bad start. But during the Allman Brothers, which was the very first concert, Abe Poland is walking around the concourse with some of his folks.
Smelled some funny.
And he said, "What's that smell?"
It's funny cigarettes.
And the guy told me the story. Said I had to explain to him, Abe, if you're going to have concerts, you better get used to that. So,
Here's a Capitol Center story that's a universal. All right, this is a total universal, and I use this reference anytime I see this, and we don't have a whole lot of women in the room, but if we did of that age or that era, any concert, I'll go through any of these from that era, from 1980 on. I mean, straight on. And you mentioned Allman Brothers and weed. Very few shows I didn't smell weed at. That Rush concert, Saxon, for sure. First time I was in the Capitol Center, I smelled weed in the first 30 minutes for a concert, right? But women using the men's room. Mm-hmm. Women using the men's room is an enduring Capitol Center tradition that to this day, when I'm anywhere and women have too long of a line and they got to bum rush the men's room and they come in and they titter and we all like laugh and hoot at them and say, go, you know, we all have wives and sisters and mothers. We love women. Go. But the Capitol Center was the mothership. For all you 60-something women out there lying to your granddaughters that you weren't tanked at a Ted Nugent show and had to go pee, and one time you peed in the men's room at the Capitol Center, because every one of you did it. Every one of you. It's true. It's right. It's true.
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
What else do I need to know about the Capitol Center?
Well,
by the way, you mentioned the skyboxes.
Yeah.
The press box at the Capitol Center for hockey was in the corner near the press room. That's where I witnessed a lot of hockey. I mean, I covered the team for years and years. Bob Fachet and, just all up in that corner. And underneath, above the portal, I didn't know what the hell a portal was. I mean, P-O-R-T. Every time you got a seat at the Capitol Center, it said portal. And it was right here. Enter portal. Who uses the word portal? Like, what else in your life have you heard the word portal used for other than the Capitol Center? But above the portal, there was like a glass and a little box. And I don't know if they were designed to be little press boxes at one point or they were thought to be used that way. But in 1992, in the summer of 1992, I was on the radio doing my show. Kenny Albert was at HTS at that time. And the Caps media department, so that would have been Lou Corletto and Micah Bookdahl was gone by then. Julie, I love you, still there probably. And they did a media thing at the Cap Center. And we all went down and it was a skate. It was a get to know the play. It was media day for the media and the players. And 92, maybe Terry Murray, it may have been, who was the donut guy? Who was the donut guy? Red hair. Come on. Devils coach, Jim Schoenfeld. Yeah, go have another donut. Yeah, he's the donut guy. May have been him, 92. They had a media thing, and we went down on the ice, and they had a game for the media. And there's 30 of us. Rimmer was probably gone then. I'm trying to think of who the people were. And some of the guys were like older folks. Jimmy Jackson was alive then. He couldn't play hockey. They had us down. We played hockey golf. And I played hockey. So they gave us a stick, and we had to hit the puck into the centers, and whoever did the best, they had prizes for the media. It was like just to try to be nice. And it wasn't any big thing, but one of them, I think second place was you could pick an event and have a skybox for a night. And I played hard. Eddie Frankovic was there that day. Eddie might have been scoring. But it was like hockey golf for 20 of us to try to compete, to show us how hard hockey was. To go out on the ice and try to move the puck and control it like a bocce ball, right? Literally on the ice. That beautiful baby blue. You got to tell the baby blue ice story? Do you know that story?
I'm not sure.
Television, that the ice was always baby blue there.
Yeah. They had it tinted, yeah.
They had it tinted for television.
Yeah.
Only place they did that.
Right.
This is before HD and all that stuff. So we went down the ice, and I won the competition to whatever distinction that I got a box. So I got a box with 8 people, and this meant like maybe getting a limo. I'm 23. I'm on the radio 8 months, like literally not even really nasty Nestor. The Orioles are a big deal because Camden Yards open. It's the summer of 92, and I was always with the team, and Mike Messina and I became friends that summer when he was pitching and playing great. Sutcliffe, all those guys were on the team, Brady Anderson, Cal, all that. And Moose and I loved music, and we would drink beer after games down at Hooters and at Balls. Downtown. It's now DSX. Now, what is it called? It's called the Pratt Street Ale House. I called it by its second name. You call it PJ Crickets. And we went down. We got a limo that night. And Moose, was making probably $100,000. And he wasn't.
Right.
He was a rookie.
Right.
I mean, like $137,000. He wasn't rich. But we chipped in and got a limo. And me, him, and his brother, and all my beer buddies went down to see Def Leppard. And we got to sit in Portal Box 5. I don't have any other box tickets, and I got press passes out the yazoo. I got tickets of all colors and denominations. But this was a night we had, and this was when they played in the round. This was the tour infamously where things were happening under the stage there with various fans that probably would Me Too them, Joe Elliott has silver hair now, so, but this was probably that. So this was the Adrenalize tour, so. Yeah, so I got so many memories, man.
Well, let me talk about the Caps for a minute.
Let's go.
Because you probably don't know this as how he actually got the Caps. Well, this is part of the process. So when he opened the Capitol Center, he was told by everybody, every financial consultant, you had to have 2 tenants, which meant basketball and hockey. Well, what else is there? Well, he already had the Bullets. And by his good luck, as they were building the Capitol Center, the National Hockey League was in the process of expanding by 2 teams. And the front runners, if I remember this right, were Kansas City and Cleveland. So they got into that process late. But they had to get a hockey team, or the Capitol Center may not have lasted 5 years. It just wasn't economically viable. So they had this brilliant idea. They said, why don't we get Irving Feld, who owns Ringling Brothers, to help us? Because they'd already had Feld at the Capitol Center, so they knew him, and he already plays at all the arenas that have hockey teams, so he knows everybody.
Did he own the Ice Capades too?
No.
Because the Ice Capades only went to the Capitol Center, never came to the city.
Well, that was their own version.
Okay.
That was not the Ice Capades.
Oh, okay.
They had their
all
own
right.
version.
Well, I just remember when I was a kid, there was a lot of things that didn't come to the arena, and I understood it, but this created that mystique I talk about.
Because
I never got to the Capitol Center until I was about 11, but that first 11 years, the Bullets won titles, and, the Capitals had ice hockey, and the Eagles were playing there, and Elvis and Kiss and all these things that you're too young.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be 12 one day, so I missed out on all of that. So hearing these stories is the best.
So they think that this is a stroke of genius. They can get this guy to lobby for him. Well, what they didn't know is that everybody hated Irving Feld. He was universally hated. None of the arena's owners liked him. So he didn't do anything to get the team.
And he brought the stinky animals in. That was his thing, right?
But that was his thing.
But the arenas must have hated the low. It was a lot for the arenas, I would think, at that time.
So,
and he probably drove a hard bargain.
Well, they get the team through their own efforts. They get the team. We all know that. The next year, when Ringling Brothers comes in, Irving Feld sits down with Abe, and he says, "Well, I helped you get the hockey team. I want this, and I want that." He wanted a free Sky Suite. He wanted all the concession sales. It was ridiculous what he wanted. And Abe said, "No, you didn't help us at all." So this started a feud. So for the next few years.
So that's why the circus was at the D.C. Armory.
Exactly.
I took my kid to the D.C. Armory to the circus when he was like 3, 87, 88. I'm like,
wait,
who is there circus at the D.C. Armory?
But there's more. So Abe said, "You're not playing in Capitol Center anymore." And Abe went and created his own circus called Circus America. And they played date for date. When Ringling Brothers was down at the Armory, Circus America was at Capitol Center. If Ringling Brothers took out a half-page ad in the Washington Post, Circus America took out a full-page ad.
So you're saying Tom Petty wasn't the only Petty that played the Capitol Center?
This was a blood feud for years. And I don't know. I never heard the story of how they made nice.
Almost like me and Angelo's, Leonard. I mean, really,
But they did, and eventually Ringling Brothers came back, and they kind of buried the hatchet,
Oh, man.
Oh, it was a good.
Phil Chenier, come on, the Big E, woo.
Did you remember the Puck Chick?
No.
No? There's
No.
a picture of it here.
Puck Chick?
Really, really nice. Elena Russo is her name.
Oh, I know Elena. She's the Puck Chick?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I call her Elena.
She was a freshman at
Elena was my neighbor.
PG Community College.
Elena's the best.
And there's a picture. She used to escort the big shots around the ice when they. She was telling
well,
me.
She's 6 feet tall. She's beautiful, and she's a great person. So
she told me when
she winning combination.
When she escorted Larry King, the whole place booed, and she was like, she didn't know what to do. But then the next time it was Bert and Ernie. There's a picture of her with Bert and Ernie in there, and everybody cheered.
Judas Priest, May 31, 1986.
That's heavy
legendary.
metal parking lot.
Well, I got a heavy metal parking lot story. So this is heavy metal parking lot. I want to show this, especially for John Allen, who was sat in this seat here, who is my heavy metal friend. So the band The Smithereens, dear friends of mine, the late great Pat Denizio, was a buddy of mine, and I used to get on their bus and run around the West Coast with them and watch dumb movies. And they always had this joke about me being the Nestor, because there's a movie called War of the Worlds or Battle of the something where there's a Nestor that's the protagonist. But they always said, dude, you were in heavy metal parking lot. And I'm like, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. They're like, dude, there's this thing called heavy metal parking lot. Like, we have it on VHS. We watch it on the bus all the time. We piss ourselves because it's funny. And this is in
1986.
No. But this time frame is 1995, 6, 7, 8, 9, late 90s. I'm out on the road with the Smithereens. And one time they load me into their bus in Cleveland after a show at the Agora, and they put the tape on of heavy metal parking lot, swearing to me for years that I'm in it. And I'm like, I wasn't at that show. I mean, it was the summer of 86. I remember the show. I was a music critic then. I was not at the show. Mm-hmm. I had tickets. I'm like, I wasn't at the show, guys. I'm like, I'm amused at you. No, dude, it's you. It was Priest and Maiden, and you're in it. I swear to God, it's you. And I'm like, all right, man. So finally they viewed it. Now you can Google it. You can watch it now. I own it on DVD. But back then, like, you couldn't go to YouTube and watch it. You had to have this very esoteric videotape from the PG community college television. Is that right? I mean, I've had those cats on. University of Maryland exhibit. They were local dudes who were Wayne's World who had a camera. And in 1986, they had a camcorder. And some semi-professional community college equipment. You know what I mean?
And one of them was Jeff Krulik, one of my co-authors.
That's why he should come out. That's how I know his name.
Yeah. That was Jeff's film.
Now we're coming full circle.
They just did a 3-day retrospective of Jeff's films in Brooklyn,
This
New York.
is the serendipity of what we're doing here with this Capitol Center retrospective. Kevin Leonard's here. He wrote the book with this guy. So this is perfect that we're leaving off with heavy metal parking lot. I'll let you say whatever you're going to say in your closing statements. We watch it, we laugh like hell, and it's a bunch of, like, Dundalk, 1986. Teresa's very familiar with that, being an 84 graduate at Dundalk, and I'm an 85er. Only Hall of Fame I'm ever getting into, hon. So trust me on that. Yeah, you too, right? Exactly. And it's not me. You know what I mean? It's not me. But there is a scene, and it's 1986, and the person the reason the Smithereens thought it was me is I owned a Live Aid shirt. Okay? And it was one of the typical 80s, like my Paradise, there was a jersey, like it came to here. It was weird.
Right.
It always cut tight and, whatever. It always shrunk like but the kid in the movie's wearing the Live Aid shirt, and the Smithereens guys knew I had it and I'd worn it before. And they're like, dude, it's you. It's not me. It wasn't me. I'll tell Krulik that. It wasn't me. I'll look through the ticket stubs and make sure I don't have a 86, but it wasn't me. And but that movie is an iconic part of the Capitol Center. And it's in the first 30 seconds. So if you watch it, you see the kid in the parking lot. Everybody's like, Rocket Evan Row, Priest, woo. That's pretty much the movie. I just gave it. Pretty much it, right? Yeah. Hold on. I'll drop the mic with this. You got to have the hair out. Give me my natty bow over here. Hand me that natty bow. Yeah, we're at the Capitol Center. It's 86, man. Priest rules. Woo! I want to hear Manalishi, man. Is that good?
It's pretty accurate.
Tell everybody how to find this book, dude. Well, I drink a warm beer. It's all warm with its natty bow. Cold, no different, Go
to our website, laurelhistory.com, and just click on shop, and you will see it there.
Stories. Pictures, never before seen, right?
Many, yep.
And the only way that I can have this is to give you $50 and take it home, right? Basically, right? Because this is a lot of this stuff is a bunch of this that I have in my closet, but the missing parts like the Elvis Presley part, right? And,
right.
And
let me show you one thing before we go.
Please, let's do it.
Just to show you the level of the
art.
No, the level.
I see Roddy Piper there.
The level of the research that we did. Oh, that's sports. Here we go.
So wait, break this. Tell me how many categories this book has.
Well, it's 4 sections. There's one section on the venue itself, sports, concerts, and then everything else because it was.
Well, while you're looking, I'll tell one more story because you mentioned the quiet room.
Go ahead.
And you're like, it's the first place to have a quiet room.
Yep.
I today invited someone that I love, probably as much as I love Teresa, and I love her more than Leonard. No, Leonard, I've known her longer. Tracy Brennan Kelly. My redheaded friend who drank with me at my wedding 20 years ago. Tracy was the assistant PR person for the Capitol Center. Mm-hmm. She worked for a man named Bob Zerflew.
I talked to him, yeah.
Bob's a wonderful man. Yeah. Please, he's still with us?
Yeah.
I got to have him on the show. So Zerflew took me seriously because my name was in the paper in the Sun. I was I went down and got concert tickets. Mm-hmm. The bands were a little irregular, you know what I mean? And I would interview a band, and I would get down there to have review tickets, and the tickets wouldn't be at the box office. They would send me to the backstage door. I knew that route better than anybody, right? The whole ramp, you get stopped, people were drunk. Hey, kid, what are you doing? I looked 9 years old. Like I looked 12 when I was 18, right? So I looked like I didn't belong, like all of that. And Bob and Tracy took pity on me. And you know how Bob has a professional voice. Did you talk to Bob? Bob's on the phone with me, and Bob. So I would call was the number 792-9280, I believe was the number from Baltimore, because you had to have a direct Baltimore number. And I called down, and Bob invited me down with Tracy. And Tracy was a little older than me and rambunctious. And her husband played a band called Bruno Loves Danger. She's a rock and roll girl. She went to Van Halen shows and parties and all that, and then worked at the Capitol Center. She and Bob said, Nestor, you don't want to go through these bands. They're a pain in the ass. We'll leave you review tickets every night. Tracy will take care of you. Just tell Tracy when you're coming down, and we'll just have the tickets, and that way you don't get boxed out. So I would always say to the band, leave me tickets, leave me passes, because that's how I would get the backstage passes. And if they were too drunk, stoned, high, didn't want to deal with me, had a problem, Bon Jovi's sick, the tickets would still be there, and I could get in. Sometimes I'd have an extra pair, and I'd give them back to Tracy or whatever. But either way, they took care of me as a music critic, from 86 to 92, all those years. I invited Tracy today. She's got a job. She couldn't come. I wanted her to sit in and tell her stories, and she said, I'd be too nervous. And I'm like, well, you're going to have to come on and tell the stories. But she was awesome. Mm-hmm. So I want to say that if you tell me whatever night the Beastie Boys played, I'll tell you that that's the night when they came out with the giant phallic symbol in the middle of the stage and the cages with the dancing girls, and because you had to fight for your right to party, right? And that was the warm-up act for Run DMC, So it was black, it was white, it was rap, it was rock, it was young, it was sex with a capital S and E and an X. And this is when Madonna's Like a Virgin and Motley Crue's Girls. It's the same era, right? So Tracy calls me as the music critic and the guy who covered. I was a grown-up at 20. I was probably 21, maybe 20, 21. She said, we're doing this thing called a quiet room. And I'm already a parent at the time. I got a 5-year-old. And she said, we're going to do this room that was a dining room. It was like a catering room in the main executive area. It was twice the size of Costas' room. It was the room. It was the size of Costas, the bar, and this big, literally. Same table, circle tables, where if Abe was giving a speech to all the employees, or if they were having a luncheon or whatever, they probably could seat 200 people, maybe 250. And it looked like a cafeteria. It looked like a multi-function room. It was nothing sexy. I mean, there's some nice pictures of Elvis on the wall or whatever because it's Capitol Center, but it wasn't anything fancy. And I had really only been in there a handful of times. I mean, what purpose would I go in there? And they turned that into the quiet room, and she had me down there that night, the Washington Post, all Channel 9, 7, they all had cameras out. And we got down there, and I had my notebook. She said, get here early. We're going to open it up. You can talk to some of the parents. You can write a story. And so the idea was you could park your car, send little Teresa at 14 and her sister Marge, who might be 16, into the show, or might be 11 and 13. Like, might not, might be more like that. But mom or, dad could be there, get Leo drop by. Well, I'll watch the game. I'll have, and women were in there knitting. They brought things to do for 2.5 hours. They had, Entertainment Tonight or whatever was on television. They had a television in there. And I went in, and the cameras were there, and there were steps to the downstairs that were kind of like almost nice. They were carpeted. It was a nice indoor area. But there was a roped-off area you go down. And I'm in there, and I'm talking to moms and dads, and sisters and brothers were there to kind of tag along a little bit. I think it was free Coke and popcorn, and hot dogs were $2 for, the chicken tenders, whatever for the kids. But there was no entertainment other than you could hear the rumble because, the double doors led right out into the concourse, right? So I'm up there, and it's crowded, and there's a hubbub going on with the people. And Ad Rock, the three Beastie Boys walk into the room. They come up the steps for the camera. So this is a put on for the media, right? And they come up, and the Beastie Boys now are there mugging with the parents. We're not just all one big penis on the stage. We're like here, They weren't like that. They were like normal guys, not the stage act. They were like just dudes. And they were signed. They signed the back of my ticket stub. My Beastie Boys ticket stub. One of them has left us and has value and like all that. But like that quiet room, the night they opened it, it was landmark. Everybody in the media covered it.
Yeah.
And the Beastie Boys showed up in the room. Nobody had cameras. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no evidence other than if they signed something. And now Marge and Therese come out and Dad's like, yeah, I met the Beastie Boys. They came in. They were nice kids. They seemed like businessmen. So I met the Beastie Boys in the quiet room. So the things you remember, 35 years later. So, yeah.
I just want to leave with this.
Go ahead.
This is a kind of an example of the depth and the level of research that we did. So
Dwayne Bobbitt.
No, we spotted this. This is a screen capture from Rocky. And there's a Capitol Center boxing poster on the wall.
Wow. Hold on. Let me show that. Is this never been before seen on the internet? I don't know.
Never before seen.
Never before seen on the internet. This is the kinds of things you can do if you go to laurelhistory.com. How much is the book?
$50.
$50. And worth?
$50. But we did some research and
and like Jason worth every penny?
Absolutely. You just dropped your
I knew he was a Nationals fan. I knew it. I outed him. It took me an hour.
I forgot what. Oh, we found out that there is a printer in Philadelphia that does all the boxing posters.
Oh wow! And they put it up.
I guess they just grabbed one from the Capitol Center and put it on.
It looked like a boxing poster.
Yeah.
Tonight at the Philadelphia Spectrum. Yeah, absolutely. And I love the Spectrum too. I mean, the Spectrum has a history just like this. Mm-hmm. Those buildings of that era. I mean, the Garden has 5 histories of that. That's up when you go to Madison Square. Thank you, man. I don't shake hands with most people at this time of year.
You bet.
I got a Purell myself, but have a crab cake on me. We're going to get some oysters Rockefeller. We're going to talk about the Maryland Health Connection. It's very important. I mean, I can't. Since I've invited you on, I'm getting really excited about having you on because I got to learn stuff. Capitol Center Retrospective's the book. I've got my ticket stubs out here and the ugly ones, my Billy Joel, my Journey, my Def Leppard. Hart, Kansas, doubleheader, man. John Elefante singing Play the Game Tonight right there. 1983, December 5th. I love Ann and Nancy. I'm Nestor. We're Costas. It's all brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with Liberty Pure Solutions. Our friends at Wise Markets, always putting things together here. We're going to be back at Pizza John's. Leonard's going to be joining us there for my birthday, his birthday, Sammy Hagar's birthday, Jim Palmer's birthday. Orioles are going to be getting ready to play the Astros in the American League Championship Series. Ravens are going to be – we play your team. I'm just trying to see if he's a Commanders fan. Is that your team? You Commanders fan?
Used to be.
Attaboy. Come on over to the purple, baby. Come on.
Until Dan Snyder bought it.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I know all about bad ownership. I'm an Orioles fan. I'm Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. Kevin Leonard, good man. We're Costas. Stay with us. We're going to learn stuff.